It's one of those moments you start talking and you're muted. Good evening and welcome to the Holmes Curriculum Night 2020-2021. I'm Christine Zelaya and I am the proud principal of Holmes School. During this first session of the evening, we will be introducing you to the Holmes staff, share information about our goals and our MTSS processes for both academics and for behavior. We'll also discuss how we work to empower our students to be leaders through the Leader in Me framework and how we work to build a strong community through our Hawk's Nest. Next slide. So in District 97, our vision, our why for what we do is to create a positive learning environment that is equitable, inclusive, and focused on the whole child. Next slide. Our mission at Holmes is to establish positive relationships by celebrating differences, embracing diversity, and fostering empathy. Engage students in equitable learning experiences that are focused on the whole child. Empower students to be proactive, collaborative leaders, and to prepare students to be successful lifetime learners and productive citizens. Next slide. And so all this is quite a mouthful and very difficult to remember, but very meaningful to us. And we have encapsulated all of our mission into our school motto. And our school motto is lead, grow, celebrate. And this school year, being a Leader in Me school, we have different themes each year. And this year we are working to build our leaders. So we are building leaders this year. Next slide. So now it is my pleasure to introduce to you our Holmes staff. Myself, your proud principal, Christine Zelaya. Our assistant principal, Ms. Escarzade. Our office staff, Nurse G, Ms. Krickow, and Ms. O'Malley. Our instructional coach, Ms. Rayfield. Our kindergarten team, Ms. Cleespies, Ms. Salini, Ms. Quayler, Ms. Regali, and Ms. Parr. Our first grade team, Ms. Conway, Ms. Freeman, Ms. Kalala, and Mr. Lopez. In our second grade team, Ms. Richards, Mr. Dolan, Ms. Feetson, Ms. Milliron, and Ms. Moore. Third grade team, Mr. Gerke, Ms. Peranto, Ms. McGill, Ms. Patnuzzo, and Ms. Anderson. Fourth grade team, Ms. Anderson, Ms. Williams, Mr. McCauley, Ms. Voights. Our fifth grade team, Ms. Foreman, Mr. Schulte, Ms. Wells, Ms. Ninen, Ms. Manuel, and Ms. Corcoran. Our special educators, who are our resource teachers, Ms. Andries, Ms. Eggert, Ms. Von Bokern. Our teachers' assistants, Ms. Smith, Ms. Harris, and Ms. Moore. Our MTSS interventionists, Ms. Hannah, Ms. McDonald, and Ms. Ashford. Our enrichment specialist, Ms. Serco. Our English as a second language teacher, Ms. Jaros. Our art department teachers, Ms. Jones and Ms. Ruff. Our music teachers, Mr. Bolden and Ms. Brown. Our Spanish teachers, Senora Pileski and Senora Pruitt. Our PE teachers, Mr. Williams, Mr. Rod, and Ms. Bennett. In our library, we have Ms. Chinsky and Ms. Yu. Our band and orchestra teachers, Mr. Rani and Mr. Bayek. Our social workers, Ms. Kearns and Ms. Pep. Our school psychologist, Miss Berkeley. Our speech teacher, Miss Lacey. Our occupational therapist, Miss Pepler. Our custodial staff, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Felix, and Mr. Tony. And our Hawk Cafe staff, Miss Cornelia, Miss Shataka, Miss Terry, and Miss Brown. Each school has a school improvement plan where we have set goals to help us reach our school improvement our goals and our district vision, reach our school and our district vision. Each school in D97 has 4 goals. 1 in language arts, 1 in math, attendance and engagement, and social emotional learning. These goals drive the work of our school. Our building leadership team will now share our improvement goals for the 2020-2021 school year.
Hi everyone, I'm Kim Jones, one of the art teachers at Holmes. I'm going to talk about goal 1, the English language arts goal. 60% of students will meet or exceed end of year essential standard expectations as evidenced by classroom formative and or summative assessments and or performance tasks. As well as 80% of our African American students will demonstrate growth by moving at least 1 performance band as evidenced by standards-based grading, which is the not yet progressing, meets and exceeds.
Hi, Mr. Lopez.
To Mr. Lopez.
Thanks, Ms. Jones. I'm Mr. Lopez. I'm a first grade teacher, and we are going to achieve this goal by taking a lot of our data, really focusing on our data to help drive our instruction. We will create differentiated groups that will focus on every single type of student. Then we'll implement different tasks such as project-based learning, choice boards, service projects, and our new anti-racist curriculum, all while we're keeping a focus on our African American students to make sure that they continue to make strides academically.
And our second goal is a math-related goal. I'm Ms. Foreman, I'm a 5th grade teacher. And this goal is that 60% of students will demonstrate meeting or exceeding grade level major cluster math standards as evidenced by classroom formative and or summative assessments. And that 80% of our African American students will demonstrate growth by moving at least 1 performance band as evidenced by standards-based grading that not yet progressing meets and exceeds.
Hi, I'm Manila Paranto. I teach 3rd grade. Within the slide, you'll also notice some familiar highlights from last year, as well as some new additions that we're going to incorporate this year to help us reach those math goals. Last year, we identified critical standards in math and tracked student progress through the year. Having done this, our math goal was at the forefront of our math planning and delivery. The data we collected was and will continue to be used to set student, classroom, and teacher math goals and drive our small group instruction and workshop. We will continue to use data to make decisions for math instruction, and this year we will also focus on the academic achievement of African American students as highlighted in the second part of this year's math goal. The incorporation of problem-based learning activities, anti-racism curriculum, and the use of a 4-lens protocol will provide instruction that is culturally responsible, interesting, and rigorous in order to promote ownership and buy-in for students in their learning.
Ms. Beatson, this is yours. Can you unmute yourself?
Great, thank you. I'm Elizabeth Beatson. I teach 2nd grade, and our attendance and engagement goal is that 75% of our students will demonstrate active engagement in their learning. We hope to increase engagement through meaningful and fun tasks that include choice. If students are excited about learning, they will want to come to school, and our attendance will increase. Ms. Gali will now go over our plan for how we will achieve this goal.
Thanks, Ms. Vietzen. I'm Ms. Regali, and I am going to tell you about how we will achieve this goal. So we will be implementing project-based learning throughout the school to promote ownership in learning and opportunities for student voice and choice. We'll be utilizing community building through Hawk's Nest and morning meeting to really engage students in conversation and reflection. We'll provide students with opportunities to engage in peer dialogue and give students an opportunity to use their active voice. We will have learning walks that are focused on student engagement. And as a staff, we will be using our book study of culturally responsive teaching to really dig into how we can reach and engage all of our students.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Williams. I teach 4th grade, and we have a social emotional learning goal. And you will not be surprised to understand that in our current climate, this goal is paramount to our teaching. We will focus on 85% of students demonstrating well-being as measured by their answers to the following 2 questions: I belong and I am safe.
I can step in. How we're going to reach this goal is that we will be using targeted academic intervention supports to provide explicit Tier 2 and 3 supports. We will have consistent implementation of our Tier 1 PBIS expectations, which I will talk about later. Our Leader in Me curriculum, we'll be teaching students the 7 habits. We'll be using equitable disciplinary procedures to support safe and respectful environments and equitable enforcement of disciplinary procedures. We'll be doing a book study of culturally responsive teaching and the brain by Zaretta Hammond to make sure that we're making all of our environments culturally responsive to all of our students. Teacher and student discussions to set behavior goals and monitor progress for identified students, and obviously collaboration and professional development. Always this year we have a special announcement. We'll be collaborating with DePaul University to strengthen our Tier 2 practices. They will actually be partnering with us and sending us certified counselor who will be running groups, teaching resiliency skills for anxiety, depression, executive functioning, and trauma.
We're all having difficulty trying to unmute ourselves. So if you're catching pauses, it's because we're getting a couple glitches here. I'll be sending out a form for feedback in Friday's edition of the Hawk, so we can get your feedback on our school improvement plan, as well as engaging our DivCo, Homes DivCo group in terms of getting some feedback on whether we're working to meet our equity imperative as a district. Next slide.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hanna. I'm the language arts specialist at Holmes, and I'm also the MTSS lead. MTSS stands for the multi-tier system of support. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what MTS is and how it benefits all of our students. I'm going to speak to the academic side, but MTSS also covers the behavioral side. Mrs. Scarzade will speak to that in a few minutes. MTSS is a process in which we use data-informed problem solving to identify our students' needs. And we ensure that those needs are being met also through this process. Whether their needs are academic or emotional or behavioral, whether students' needs are to be enriched or if they have gaps that need to be addressed, all of that can be covered when we work together in the multi-tier system of support. The entire process that we use here is a continual cycle where students are assessed, their results are analyzed, and their needs are supported in whatever it is that they need. And then we monitor their progress. Teachers come together every 6 weeks to review student progress, and students will shift among the tiers that you see on the screen there as necessary. If progress is not being made, we intervene, we conduct interventions, and if a significant struggle is uncovered, we would notify parents, we would possibly refer a student for an evaluation for an IEP. And then we can truly figure out where the struggle is. So that's the process. A little bit about our assessments is Ms. Ashford, our MTSS interventionist for math.
Hi everybody, Christine Ashford. So MTSS requires data-based decision-making, which has to start with assessment. So the what? Benchmark testing will happen in fall, winter, and spring as usual. Those results, along with common classroom assessments, will help us determine the level of support that students need. Why do we do this? We need to know where our students are in order to inform our instruction. The assessments allow us to understand every student's strengths, needs, and identify possible gaps. They allow us to differentiate and give each student what they need, whether the student needs enrichment or extra support. How do we do this? Well, in this unique school year, many assessments will be done at home. As this happens, it's imperative that students are allowed to take tests without outside support. Helping your child with technical assistance is of course needed and appreciated, but please allow students to show us what they know independently. Your child might struggle with answering some questions, and that's okay. We want the results to show an accurate snapshot of where your child is academically at this time. So when will this take place? Benchmark assessments have already begun for fall, and they happen 3 times per year. Teachers will track progress using ongoing classroom assessments and respond in real time. Win time, enrichment, and interventions will begin for students as early as this week. And I'm passing it back to Ms. Hannah.
So MTSS is a tiered approach, as I explained earlier. It encompasses both academics and behavior. The majority of our students will be in what we consider Tier 1, where they would receive differentiated support in their classroom daily. And that might look like reading books in groups at their own reading level, or math groups based on which math problems they have to correct on an exit slip. Teachers will also differentiate to enrich Tier Plus and Tier Plus Plus students to engage students at a more challenging level. A student at Tier 2 might need some moderate support and some intervention if their data shows a smaller struggle. A student at Tier 3 might need our highest level of support, an intensive intervention with our interventionists or with our Title I tutors. And all of this is why we have this time scheduled into our day that you might have noticed. It's called Win Time, and it's called What I Need Win Time. And every student has it 4 to 5 times a week for about 30 minutes. And that time really allows teachers and support staff to engage students in that differentiation, in that enrichment and intervention that we talked about to meet all of the needs that each student might have.
Thank you, Ms. Hannah. So good evening, everyone. My name is Parisa Escarzadeh, and I'm the honored assistant principal of homeschool. Thank you for your patience and grace as we navigate Zoom and this new reality here. As Ms. Hannah was saying, MTSS encompasses both academic and behavior. She spoke to the academic side, so I'm going to speak to the behavior side. You'll often hear the acronym PBIS, which stands for Positive Behavior Intervention Supports. PBIS is an evidence-based 3-tiered framework that establishes a social culture and the behavior supports needed to improve social emotional behavior and academic outcomes for all students. At homeschool, our PBIS team consists of myself and Dr. Zelaya, our culture and climate coach, Maggie Cahill, and 4 classroom teachers, Ms. McGill, Ms. Cleespies, Ms. Parr, and Ms. Anderson. We do love to have a parent representative on our team, so if you would like to take on this role, please send me an email. We would love to have you as part of our team. This year, our PBIS team WIG, you'll hear your students use that word, it stands for Wildly Important Goal, is to lead our staff in analyzing our practices to ensure that they are meeting the needs of all learners and remove barriers that will prohibit growth, to grow an understanding of our students and their unique strengths and how we can use them as an asset, to celebrate our staff and students' success and voices, and to build community where students and staff feel engaged, supported, and feel a strong sense of belonging. Next slide, Ms. Rayfield, please. Ultimately, creating positive relationships and a sense of belonging is at the heart of everything we do at homeschool. We use a restorative approach to teach effective behavior, and we apply progressive discipline that takes into account the whole child. And we always use a trauma-informed lens as necessary. Next slide, please. So you saw the MTSS-A tiered supports. This is the MTSS-B for behavior tiered supports. Our tier 1 supports are provided to all students at homeschool. The universal population of students participate in learning of school-wide expectations, our social emotional curriculum, which we call second step, community building circles, Leader in Me, and many other expectations. We try to make the learning day as predictable as possible for students so they know what is expected of them and they know how they can be successful. If it is determined that by behavior data that a student might need a little bit more, a little bit further support, our team will gather around and we will offer a variety of supports that are listed here in tier 2. A couple of them that I'd like to highlight is the Hawks Academy, which is a check-in, check-out system where students check in and check out daily with an adult mentor. We also offer targeted social skill instruction through social academic groups. And like I said earlier, this year we're excited to offer Mindfulness Matters social cognitive groups led by certified counselors from DePaul University. And then if students are still not successful with tier 2 interventions, we would move to tier 3, which provides some more individualized social skill instruction. We might do a functional behavior assessment and possibly write a behavior intervention plan. All of this is done with your student's school team, teachers, administrators, as well as their family team. So you are an instrumental part in this decisions, all of these decisions. We know that this year is like no other. So we still have expectations on Zoom. We're working to teach students how to attend during Zoom at any time. If your student is in need of any of these supports from home, or if you would like to look into any of them, please don't hesitate to contact me and we can talk through some of these supports for your student. Now I'm going to pass the mic to Ms. Anderson, one of our PBIS members, so she can speak about the restorative approach.
Hello, everybody. So at Holmes, we use a program called Second Step, which is our social emotional curriculum. And we use it to teach appropriate behavior. So if students aren't responding to the teaching of the behaviors, then we use our restorative approach to help repair them. They come up with a plan and we lead them through it. If the behaviors continue, this is when we meet with our PBIS team to discuss tier 2 interventions for the student. Families are always involved in these decisions. We work as a team to determine which supports will best support your student in order for them to be successful in school. And these are some of the questions that we go through to help restore it. Next slide. So if you would like other resources, you can access them at our homeschool website, the PBIS Second Step website, or our district website. I'd like to point out that on our homeschool website, there are home links for parents to use at home that support the social emotional learning that your students are doing in the classroom. And if you need any additional resources, feel free to reach out to Mrs. Scarzadeh and she will help you get those.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marianne Rayfield, and I'm the instructional coach at Holmes. Thank you, Mrs. Scarzadeh, for doing my slide earlier. I couldn't unmute, even though I'm presenting the slides. So thank you. Teamwork is what makes everything go around here at Holmes. So I am going to talk about our Leader in Me program. I have the pleasure of serving as the Leader in Me Homeschool Lighthouse Team Coordinator. And we have a wonderful team of people that work on our Lighthouse team together. And I'd just like to take the opportunity to recognize them and thank them. So Dr. Zelaya and Mrs. Garzadeh, myself, Ms. Anderson, our third grade teacher, Mr. Dolan, a second grade teacher, Ms. Ashford, our interventionist, Ms. Bennett, our PE teacher, Ms. Richards, which is hard for me to say, Ms. Kofsky, Ms. Richards, our other second grade teacher. And then we'd also like to give a big shout out to Ms. Foreman, our fifth grade teacher who has served on the Lighthouse team the last 2 years. So thank you, Ms. Foreman. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about how Leader in Me was brought to our school. So about 3 years ago, we introduced this evidence-based, comprehensive culture, climate, and academic school improvement model to the staff with a year-long book study, as well as in-person visits to Leader in Me schools in the Chicagoland and surrounding suburbs. Over the last 2 years, our staff has implemented the Leader in Me program through direct instruction of the 7 habits of happy and healthy kids, as well as beginning our school year with an emphasis on community building, leadership, and life skills that promote the 21st century leadership qualities. The Leader in Me program teaches our students and staff to look at our school culture and climate through a new lens. These new paradigms, such as everyone can be a leader, everyone has genius, change starts with me, and developing the whole person, help us to change the way that we see things, which in turn influences what we do and the results that we get. Ms. Ashford?
So instead of focusing on academic measures alone, the Leader in Me program embodies a holistic approach to education, redefining how schools measure success. This approach empowers educators with effective practices and tools to teach leadership to every student, to create a culture of student empowerment, and to align systems to drive results in academics. Mr. Dolan.
Mr. Dolan, are you not able to unmute? Mrs. Garzadeh, if you make him a co-host, I believe he can unmute.
I'm not finding him at all, Miss Dr. Zelaya.
That's okay.
I can take it. I can take the slide.
Thank you, Ms. Ashford.
Sure. So whether we are remote or in person, students will showcase their learning goals and successes in leadership binders. This fall, students will keep a collection of these goals and successes electronically. Students and staff will set wildly important goals, both for their personal and academic growth. Be sure to ask your student about their WIG, their wildly important goal, over the next 2 weeks. Our dedicated staff will instruct students with direct lessons, teaching the 7 habits, as well as the paradigms that Ms. Rayfield mentioned on our previous slide. We are also excited to offer students leadership opportunities and leadership clubs to promote the genius and leadership skills of our talented students.
Thank you, Ms. Ashford, for jumping in.
Sure.
So I also have the opportunity to talk about our wonderful school-wide Hawks Nest program. So our Hawks Nest are a group of multi-age students, including kindergartners all the way up through 5th grade. And this year we will be keeping the same nests as we had from the 2019-2020 school year, and then incorporating the new kindergartners and the new students to homeschool. Our Hawks Nest meets once a month. This year we will begin our nests in October. Students and staff will develop the Hawks Nest lessons to focus on social emotional learning, our PBIS mantra of be respectful, be responsible, and be safe, and our Leader in Me habits of being proactive, beginning with the end in mind, putting first things first, thinking win-win,
seeking first to understand, then be understood, synergizing and sharpening the saw. Our Hawk's Nest lessons strive to create the conditions to build a strong school culture and foster a community of learners where our students feel safe, known, nurtured, and celebrated. Dr. Zia, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Ms. Rayfield. Thank you to all of our staff members that presented this evening. We would like to finish our presentation tonight with a short video showcasing our Leader in Me program from the start of the 2019-2020 school year. We can't wait to see what our 2020-2021 Hawk leaders will accomplish this year. Thank you for being here this evening.
3.
We are leaders.
I am a leader. I am a leader. I am a leader. Leaders. I am a leader. I am a leader. I'm a leader. I am a leader. I am a leader. We are leaders. I am a leader. I am a leader. I'm a leader. I am a leader. I'm a leader.
Thank you again for joining us this evening. We will be sending this to all families in the Hawk on Friday, along with all of your grade level presentations, our form for collecting feedback. And as always, if you have any questions, you can always reach out. Thank you for joining us this evening. And so now you can head on over to your classroom meetings, and their teachers will be there to greet you and to share what's happening with their curriculum and in our grade level classrooms this year. Thank you. Have a great evening.